How you doing, everybody? Welcome back to another Poolside chat edition of Poolside Cigar Views with Kirk. So it's been a long time since I've come at you. I've been pretty sporadic the last few years. But it does seem that when I post a video, at least some of you watch and leave a comment. I always appreciate that. And as you can see, the setting is different. And that's because, boy, a lot has happened since the last time I talked to you guys. So this is the first experimental shot in the new house. I don't know how this is going to come across. I'm pretty far from the camera. New sound setup, so hopefully the sound's okay. But yeah, we'll see what this looks like. But yeah, since I'm trying to think, I didn't even look to see when the last time I came at you was. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. So before I get started, I'll just tell you what I'm enjoying today, and that is an Alec Bradley Prensado Churchill. This is an oldie but a goodie, and this particular stick has been in my humidor for a pretty long time. I would think several years. And it's burning nicely. It's mellowed. I tend to get a lot of dark chocolate out of these Prensados. I'm not getting any kind of spice to it. I think that's pretty much aged out at this point. But I'm getting leather, dark chocolate. Those are really heavy leather and dark chocolate. I'll let you know what else comes across as I kind of sip on this cigar. And I'm pairing it today with a Dragoon IPA. And you definitely won't be able to see from here, but this is a pint can of the Dragoon IPA. This is my favorite IPA. This is a great summer beer. It's a great anytime beer. But yeah, it's 7.3% alcohol, so it's kind of a heavy hitter. But it's totally balanced. And it's this is definitely more of the piney type side of an IPA. It's not as much citrus. I get more pine and a little bit of citrus rind. It finishes very, very clean. It's very bitter, and I really like this Dragoon IPA. And it's special today that I'm drinking that in this new place, just because of what all's happened in the last 6 months. So, spoilers, good spoilers, is that my family's okay. Nobody's had a major health crisis. Well, no, not a major physical health crisis anyway. We're all happy and healthy and safe at the moment, so that's good. But yeah, the last 6 months have been kind of a whirlwind, 6-7 months. So I had a good job here in Tucson, and for probably the last we lived in Tucson for about 16 years, and for probably the last 13 of those, my wife has always been talking about the next step, the next adventure, the next whatever. And Tucson was just always very good to us. For me, career-wise, it was very good. Our social network was good. I love the climate. And our daughter, who's 10 years old now, is starting to get older, and we kind of talked about, if we're going to make a move, we should probably either do it now or just wait until she goes off to college. And so an opportunity presented itself for me in upstate South Carolina. And I had never been to upstate South Carolina, neither had my wife. But I interviewed for a job there. It was a very good job, and we went out there for a long weekend, 3-4 days, and we liked it. And I got an offer. So just before Thanksgiving last year, before Thanksgiving of 2022, I accepted a job in upstate South Carolina, and we moved. And ultimately, long story short, it just wasn't a good fit. The job was good, my boss was good, so can't complain about that stuff. But as a family, we really struggled. And I don't want to say bad things about South Carolina because I think it's not fair to do that. But for who we are and what we want and what we enjoy as a family, it was absolutely not our style at all. So, we had to face some hard truths, and it was a really, really tough decision. But ultimately, we decided to come back. And so, about 5 months into a new job, I had to tell my boss that we were moving back, and that did not win me a lot of friends, as you might imagine. But we felt like it was worth it, and so here we are. So my daughter is back at her school, where she was at school before we left. My wife is back at her old employer, and right now I am currently in between jobs, and that is just fine with me. And I honestly haven't really been looking very hard. We've just been in the house for a few weeks. And so I've been busy kind of getting moved in. But yeah, we're back in Arizona. Got a pool again. Nice mountain view. And I'm happy with where we are. I like the new house. I miss the old one. But, overall, it's been a lot. It was a trying 6 months. That was. It'll probably take a few years to really digest what happened, and I'm trying to kind of take things one day at a time. But I think both my wife and I knew pretty early on that it wasn't going to work out. And the question comes. When you face a crisis like that, this is what I struggled with the most. Was, do we stay and make it work? Because again, I don't want to throw too many stones at South Carolina. I do think South Carolina is a nice state. I think upstate South Carolina has a lot going for it. And the question is, do we stay and make it home? Because, I think Tucson's home because we were here for 16 years. And, you live somewhere for 16 years, it becomes home. We stayed in South Carolina. I would probably get used to the humidity. I'd get used to all the idiosyncrasies would come with living in the South. But do I want that? Like, ultimately, with what makes me happy and what do I enjoy? I think I'm a desert person, man. I like knowing that 6 days a week are going to look exactly like this. Blue sky and sunshine. Probably more than 6 days a week. Probably on average 6.5 days a week. I don't like humidity. I like to be outside. And, when it rains 3 days a week and it's cloudy, you can't really do that stuff. And then it's humid and you feel gross. So a lot of it had to do with climate, I think. But that's what's been going on in my life. But it was, it's real. And, a lot of it, I think, was, when we left, I think, I won't speak for my wife, but, I think I was already kind of on the verge of a mental health crisis when we left. And maybe crisis is too strong a word, but I needed some attention in the mental health realm, we'll say. Just burned out, depressed, midlife crisis type stuff, all those things all combined. And that's when you throw a move in on top of that and a major change in climate and scenery. It was just a lot. It was just a lot to handle. And what I told my wife was, look, what we needed as a family was a rest. And I think that's one of the reasons why we moved is we were kind of in a rut and we were exhausted and we were kind of just, we needed to hit the pause button. We needed to rest. But instead of doing that, we uprooted our lives, moved across the country. So instead of taking a rest, we signed up for a marathon is what we did. And that was the wrong choice. But here we are today. It'll take me a while to digest all the lessons because I'm sure there's quite a few. But as I come at you today, I'm a much happier person. I'm optimistic, which is good. I haven't been optimistic in a long time. So I'm feeling optimistic today. I'm feeling very grateful today, very thankful. I've always tried to practice gratitude, and this last 6 months was a real trial to maintain my gratitude, and I wasn't always successful in that endeavor. There was a lot of times, and I would talk about this with my wife. It's like, why are we so unhappy, and why are we struggling so much with this? Because again, I had an amazing job. Um, it was so weird that on the surface, I had nothing to complain about. Maybe the weather. I didn't like the weather, and I can't control that anyway. But I really had nothing to complain about. But I was horribly, horribly unhappy. But I sought the help that I needed. You know, I had already been talking to somebody, but I sometimes need help, and I don't want to turn this into a mental health video, but I had to get on some medication, and that's helped. It's interesting. So I don't want this to be a mental health video, but don't neglect your mental health. And if you're not feeling well, and if you're sad all the time, or you're struggling to do things that you used to do, or struggling to find joy in the things you used to find joy in, maybe those are signs to get help. And I don't try to pretend like you're too tough for that, or that's for other people. Mental health is important. And if you don't have that, it's just like your physical health. If you don't have your mental health, you can't do much. And I know in the last few months at work in South Carolina, I would tell my wife, like, I'm just really struggling to get things done. I'm just tired all the time. I don't want to do anything. I sit at my desk, and I know what I need to do. I know how to do it. I know I'm good at it. And I just can't find the motivation to just do it. And then I would beat myself up and, think that I was a bad person, or that I was being lazy, or whatever else. And, in retrospect, now that the veil's kind of lifted a little bit, it's like I was in a pretty dark place. And, it's kind of like when you're having that kind of a mental health issue, it's just like physical health. Would you fault your landscaper if, they didn't, till your garden, or, cut your grass when they had a 103-degree fever? I would hope not. If you do, you're a mean person. No, you would say, go home, get some rest, come back when you're ready. Heal, mend, feel better, come back and work. And so sometimes you kind of have to do that with your mental health too. If you're not there, you're not there. So anyway, I'm not going to talk anymore about mental health, not today anyway. Today, I just wanted to check in, let you know what's been happening. You'll probably see some other videos on this, not on this, but coming from me soon, because again, unlike all the years I posted videos, I don't have a job right now, which feels pretty good. It's like fun employed. So we'll see how long that lasts. But yeah, that's what I'm doing now, and I haven't had a Prensado in a very long time. But it is amazing, you smoke these cigars, and I've smoked probably 100 Prensado Churchills. This was the first the first cigar that I was really enamored with. And this one, Cigar of the Year from Cigar Aficionado, was probably 2011 or 2012. So for whatever reason, this, I took that as the benchmark of, what's a good cigar. I really liked it, really liked the band, and still do. But it's amazing that sense of smell and taste sticks with your memory, and this is absolutely a Prensado Churchill. Although it's definitely an aged Prensado Churchill, because it has significantly mellowed and is crazy balanced. This is really, all the flavors are really rounded out here. course. I don't know if you can see it because you're so far away, but I just dropped my ash in my lap. But boy, this is tremendously balanced, and this is really just, in this first third, just a dark chocolate and leather bomb. And the smoke feels nice and oily. Really coats the tongue well. I wouldn't call it creamy, but you know, it's not dry. Sometimes I feel like cigar can be a little, the smoke can be a little dry. This is not like that at all. This is a very oily smoke, and I am enjoying it. Yes, I'm happy to be back in the old Pueblo, sitting in the sunshine. It is warm. I wonder. Yeah, this chair doesn't normally live over here. This would be an awkward place for a chair. I wonder. Oh, there we go. Put the old toes in the pool and kick back. That's nice. That is certainly something to be grateful for. But I feel like it makes me slouch. Anyway, you know, I appreciate you guys hanging out. If you stayed to the end of the video, click the like button, click the subscribe button. I'll be coming back at you with some more of these chats and maybe a cigar review or two. And, you know, again, I appreciate your patience. I know I don't post anywhere near regularly. But for those of you that pop in and say hi, I do appreciate it. So it's been great talking to everybody. And thank you for hanging out. And I'll be back again. So until next time, keep your feet in the pool, a drink in your hand, and a cigar in your mouth. Take care.